Okay, adjusting the chain on your Ducati 1260S. This is the 2021, but it's the same process on the 2019 and the 2020 as well. You need an eccentric hub tool. I'll put a link to this in the description. Pick this up, I believe, on Amazon for about $6. It's machined aluminum. So you need one of these. Cannot do it without one of these. Don't try, because you'll damage your bike. You need a T60 TORX bit. This is a 1/2 inch. I would probably recommend getting a 3/8. I'll put a link to a torque bit set and an individual torque bit in the description that you can pick up on Amazon. I recommend Tecton. Tecton is really, really good. They make fantastic tools, most of which are made in the USA, so we'll recommend that. This is a 3/8 inch socket wrench that you'll use to actually loosen the torque bit. You can use a 1/2 inch drive wrench if you want to, and then you need a torque wrench. Here I'm showing you an example of 3 torque wrenches that I use to work on cars and motorcycles. This TORX bit, the pinch bolt in the eccentric hub, requires a 40 Newton meter torque spec, in which case you would not use your small torque wrench or your big one. You need a mid-sized torque wrench. On the torque tree setting here for Newton meters, you want 40 to fall somewhere in the middle of the tree. You don't want it at the bottom of the tree or the top of the tree, because then you're using a torque wrench that's too powerful or not powerful enough, and you may end up, you may risk damaging your torque wrench or torquing it down to a specification that's not entirely accurate. When you take out the bolt, you will clean the bolt with a paper towel, and you will grease the threads in the back side of the head on the bolt. I recommend using synthetic caliper grease. It's really great stuff. It's a high temperature and high pressure. If you don't have this and you want to use some like Mobil 1 synthetic grease, you know, you can use Mobil 1 synthetic grease. That's fine too as well. I mean, hell, they use it on aircraft carriers, man. That's the stuff they use to launch fighter planes off the deck. It's really great stuff. Okay. So this tool right here, we'll come over, we'll take a look at the chain real quick, and I'll show you a couple of things. So behind the sprocket, and I'll see if I can just get the phone in there properly so that we can see this. There it is. Okay, so I'll just zoom in on it a little bit. Okay. And I'll point to it if I can, very carefully. You see those little grooves right there? There and there. That's the hub that you're gonna use to put the tool on. Those little grooves are all around the circumference. And that is what the wrench, the little piece on the wrench, it sits in those grooves. All right? So that's what you're going to use to turn the wheel, or sorry, rotate the hub, the eccentric hub, forwards and backwards. Counterclockwise to tighten the chain, clockwise to loosen the chain. And before you do that, like I mentioned, you've got that T60 torque bit right there, right in there. And you want to remove that completely. Yeah, I'll point to it, right? Just so there's no confusion here. It's this guy. Remove it entirely. You can do this with the bike on the stand. The instructions say to do it on the kickstand. But you can also do it with the rear stand in place. There's no difference, okay? Because the full weight of the bike and the way that the suspension rests and the way that the chain rests is exactly the same with a stand in your rear axle or the wheel sitting on the ground. There's no difference in terms of the dynamics and gravity and weight and suspension. It sits exactly the same either way. So here's the chain right here. And there is a sticker. Oh, I'll show you real quick. Okay, so there is a sticker. Let me zoom back out. There's a sticker. It's usually right about here on your swing arm, right about here. Sometimes they'll put it here or up here, but it's usually right about here. That sticker will tell you more or less exactly what I'm telling you. So let me grab that out. I took it off the bike just for looks, and I have it sitting here on a little piece of foil. The instructions are here. You're gonna measure the distance of the chain from the lowest point on the swing arm, which just so happens to coincide with the chain kick guard here, and the little bolt that holds the chain kick guard on. You put your measuring tape or your ruler right there, and what you'll do is you'll measure anywhere between 31 and 33 millimeters. I targeted 32, right in the middle, dead center, and you're gonna target that measurement to the center of the rivet on the chain. So we'll come over here. The chain is totally at rest when you make this measurement. You do not touch the chain or swing the chain. Let me get a little light under here so we can see a little better. Okay, so in the diagram, you can see the little picture. There's the nut, there's the chain. This ruler will sit right here. Everything is metric on these bikes, obviously, and you'll look at it and you'll say, okay, well, you know, where's it at right now? To the center of that rivet. It's at center of the rivet about 32, okay? And the camera angle, you know, makes it difficult to read it, but it's 32 to the center of the rivet, okay, from the lowest point. All right. So I already made the adjustment, but I was at like 45 or 46, okay? So it was really loose. And that's because the bike has 3,500 miles on it and I haven't tightened up the chain. So, you know, after you make that adjustment, you'll put your Torx, T60 TORX pinch bolt back into the eccentric hub, pinch joint. You'll tighten that down to 40 Newton meters, okay? So pay very close attention on your torque wrench when you're doing that. Newton meters tree is on this side. Foot pounds or inch pounds is on the other side. And you have two sets of numbers right here. The top set of numbers is foot pounds or inch pounds, depending on what kind of wrench you're using. The lower set of numbers is your Newton meters. Okay, so on this one, it goes 37.3 Newton meters. So then I had to add, you know, some amount to that to get to 40, okay? So you just keep spinning and you keep adding up the numbers till you get to 40. You will need an extension, about a 2-inch extension or so that you can get the wrench in here at about this distance. Kind of, you know, anywhere in here where you have play, where you can ratchet that wrench freely without hitting this or without hitting your rim. And just, you know, I would recommend putting a towel down just in case you drop the bolt, you drop your wrench, the socket comes off or something. You don't want it hitting your rim because it'll put a dent in your rim. It may even chip the paint. So just be mindful of that. And that's more or less the entirety of the process.